You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be speaking to the Mayor of Swale first. Firstly, thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So I was hoping you could sort of introduce yourself to listeners and also tell them a little bit about yourself as well.
Okay, my name's Lesley Ingham. I'm an elderly lady. I'm not really, I'm 61. I've been a counsellor for 10 years. Before that, I was a ward sister at the old Sheppey Hospital for 28 years. I'm not an islander born and bred, I'm a Londoner, but I've been to the island since child. My grandparents had chalets here and we came down from London, and I permanently moved onto the island in 1979. So I think to myself as an islander, but I'm not really. I have one daughter, two granddaughters. I'm a widow. I don't know what else you want to know.
No, that's all right. With becoming the mayor, was it always something you planned to do, or was it something that kind of come about as a process?
Never ever give it a thought. Really didn't. It was way above my sort of thinking. And I was talking to somebody one day at the council, and they said to me, "Why don't you go for mayor? You'll be good at it." And you think, no, not me. And several people said it to me, and I said, all right, then we'll give it a go and see what happens, because you have to be elected as mayor. You have to have a proposer and a seconder, and I think it was probably the biggest shock of my life when they said, yes, you're going to be our next mayor.
Now, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the mayor's charities.
Yes, I have two charities. They're both very close to my heart. The first one is Perthes disease, which is a disease children are born with. It's a limited blood supply to the hip. So they are born without a ball and socket joints. It can take many, many years. It's never cured. It can be operated on. It can be put in plaster. It can never be any good, and it can be good. And it's close to my heart because my eldest granddaughter has got it. My second charity is SAFA. My late husband John was a treasurer for SAFA for many, many years. He was also in the Royal Navy. My first husband, who also died, was in the army, so I've got quite a close relationship with the services. When my husband John died, SAFA were amazing. They supported me so well, and I thought, this is just a little way I can give back.
And you were just telling me a minute ago that it's been a very busy time since you've been there, and I was hoping you could cover perhaps some of the events you've been to.
Yes, it has been pretty full on. The first event we went to, the first big event, was the Queen's Garden Party, which was amazing. We actually met several members of the royal family, which was incredible. You can't take photos there, but they do CDs, DVDs, and you send for them, and you buy them. So I sent for one and I bought them, and my daughter and I were both on the DVD talking to the Queen, which was lovely because we didn't know that was going to be there. Yesterday I was in the City of London doing the Costermongers Harvest Festival Parade, which we do every year. There was about 40 mayors there from all over the South East and all over London, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I was going to say, I imagine it's one of those things that probably you don't realise just what a mayor has to do till you're doing it, probably, and what's actually happening.
Absolutely. I mean, things happen and you think, really? Me? Why me? But then I also like the community events that I do. I love going into the old people's homes. I love going into the schools. I love going into like the Freedom Centre and places like that. Places that I've heard of and I've read about, but I've never actually been to. And now I've been to them, they've made such an impact on me. I really hope that the public realise what a great thing these sort of places are for our community, because unless you go to them, you really don't know. What else have I been to? I've ridden on the back of a 1948 Vincent motorbike, which was fabulous, because when I was younger, I was a bit of a biker girl. We went to the Kent show and had lunch with the Duke of Kent, which was lovely. Tomorrow night we're going to Canterbury with Lord Delisle for his honours list. So yeah, you get a real mixture of the community, like me, my people, and of the big civic things. And the mixture is lovely, but it is pretty full on.
So is it a mixture of events that are sort of set out and events also you come across that you want to visit?
Yes, it is. Yes, I do. I do say to people when I'm going, just phone the PA's office, let her know, and I'll come along and I'll support you and things like that. Yeah, so it swings and roundabouts, really. I mean, we do get a lot of invitations, and a lot of them are yearly invitations. The same thing every year you get invited to, like the costermongers, like the garden parties and things like that. But it's the other ones, like when I went to the Freedom Centre, I went to their open day and it was fantastic. And they said to me, would you like to come to our AGM? And I said, yeah, just ring the Mayor's office, make sure I'm free, and yes, I'll come. So things like that happens, which is lovely.
So it kind of progresses as you meet people.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I know next you want to talk a little bit about the borough itself.
Yes, the borough was quite a shock to me when I became mayor, because being a person who lives on the island, I know the island very well. I know Sittingbourne fairly well, didn't know Faversham particularly well at all. And I've realised the borough's in 3 different areas. We have the historic city of Faversham, we have the industrial town of Sittingbourne, and we have the island, which is the holiday part. Each area is, the people are absolutely in love with their own area, and it's lovely to see. Every time I go to anywhere on the island, it's pushing the island, it's how much people love the island, there's nothing wrong with the island. Sometimes it's the people who live on the island that make it bad, but there's nothing wrong with the island. You go to Faversham and everybody's very, very protective of Faversham, and the same with Sittingbourne, but they're all completely different areas. I'm amazed how big they are. I never realised how big Sittingbourne was. I never realised how far it went back. It just seems to go on and on forever, Sittingbourne. Because you only ever go to the high street, that's all you ever see. You don't go around the estates and the houses and the roads and see how many there are. And of course, there's all the villages in between. And some of the villages are big, big villages, like East Church, where I live, is a big village now. Some of them are tiny little villages. And it's lovely, and I've learnt an awful lot about the borough, and I have great respect for the people who love their area of the borough.
I was going to say myself, you don't do, even growing up on the island, it's surprising just how big Swale is when you start to, you don't realise you're still in Swale sometimes. You think you've gone right out and away, but you're still there.
That's right. I mean, the furthest I think we go is Graveney, which is on the border of Canterbury, and then it's Newington the other way. So it is a huge area, and then going right out to Selling, Nowds and places like that, Painters Forstall. It is a big, big area, and people don't realise how big that area is. And also people don't realise how our population swells in the summer. I mean, our population on the island doubles in the summer with the holidaymakers. So it's not just X amount of people live in this borough, it's X amount of people live in this borough for 6 months, and then it goes up to another amount of people for the next 6 months. So it's a different... You get a different generic around it. But yeah, it's good. I love it.
So how do you think people accept the mayor and think about the mayor?
First, well, what I've come across is people don't know what the mayor does. They don't know what a mayor is, what they stand for, who are you sort of thing. And I always say, well, we stand in for the Queen, because pretty much basically that's what it is. If the Queen can't be somewhere, then the mayor stands in for her. But I feel, personally, the mayor is also the face of the council. They know that the mayor is in charge of the council meetings and things like that. They don't come to see me, they come to see the chains. It's the chains people want to see. And that's fair enough, because that's the motto of Swale Borough Council, I wear. And it's people come up to me and they say, oh, what does that mean? And our motto, if you don't know, for Swale, is known by our fruits, which I think is a lovely motto, because it's Kent, we're the Garden of England and we do grow fruits. I've not met anybody yet who's had anything derogatory to say about being a mayor or anything like that. Kids especially want to know, how do you become the mayor? One little boy asked me if I lived in a palace, and I said no, I live in a cottage. They seem to have this great big imagination of what you are. I was very struck. I went to a youth club with my daughter, who's my mayoress, and I was talking to some people, and Ashley, my daughter, was talking to these kids, and she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, "Mum, will you come and talk to these kids?" I said, "Of course I will." She said, "You don't realise," she said, "you're the most important person these kids have ever met." And I felt so humble, because all I basically am is a retired nurse who sits on a council and wears a big chain. That's all I really am. People like to see you there. It gives them a little feeling of, well, the mayor's coming. You get this, oh, the mayor's coming. But it's the chain they want to see, not me particularly, it's the chain.
Well, it must be nice to do it.
I love it. I'm having the best year of my life. I'm loving every minute of it. I'm exhausted, but I'm loving it.
So, so far, how has the job changed things for you?
It's changed my perspective on things amazingly. I never realised how many unsung heroes are out there in our communities. People that get on and just do the job they're doing. They don't get any thanks for it. They don't expect anything for it. They just love doing it and they do it. It's made me very humble to what people put up with in their lives. Something I wouldn't put up with, that other people do put up with, and I think that's amazing. It's been the best year of my life so far. It's been fabulous. I've loved every single minute of it. I could do it forever, but I know I can't. I can only do it till May. But I'm hoping once I finish it, I will now come back to some of these communities that I visited, some of the associations that I visited, and hopefully get a bit more involved with them and help them out, because as I say before that, I didn't know they existed.
Well, it certainly sounds like it's been a busy time, and it certainly sounds you're enjoying it, so I'd like to thank you very much for giving us a little insight into what you do as the Mayor of Swale.
You're very welcome, and thank you very much for inviting me, Daniel.
That is the Mayor of Swale talking to us here at the Monday Night Community Show.